Hey everyone, I wanted to do another video to do with the asshole treatment of a reunion, because maybe like an hourly update, because it hasn't stopped. And so I was thinking of telling you all the usual symptoms are there, and they're pretty crappy. Like, because I've been awake all night and I got up and pushed on and did my walk, so I'm tired. And he won't let me sleep. I had like 10 minutes there, and then he woke me up again. And it's pretty horrible shit. Like, he does this internal ear thing that sounds squeaky and spacious. And like, there's no need for it. All he has to do is like speak to someone. But let me give you some insight as to what a person doing this, what a person has assumed for himself. And you know the word assume, when you separate it, it's us, you, me. When people assume things, and it's okay to like, assume, I don't know, the sun's going to rise at approximately 5:23 when you haven't checked. Yeah, probably, I think it's about 5:20 or something, But no, when someone actually chooses a life choice, they assume that their beliefs are going to be what happens for them. So that's what he's done. Because when I contacted him initially, my guidance is I'm on a soul contract with him. And a soul contract is pre-birth, you're with guidance teams, and depending on your soul, and we're all different, every single one of us, you'll meet with guidance teams, and you'll cover various things that you've experienced as a soul, and also any long-term goals that sort of catered to how each life experience was chosen, designed for the best intent for any learning from a past life, and moving through that to what the soul could then achieve if it's covered certain things. And then Carolyn Mace teaches the archetypes, and her team, and there's other people doing it now as well, who admire Carolyn's depth of work and teaching us the archetypes. The archetypes are part of the sacred contract as well. And from what I remember, and Caroline has jogged this memory, is that we'll have a certain amount of archetypes, and as you progress, like I was saying, through any sort of karmic learning, releasing, assisting other soul tribe members on the planet, you will use certain archetypes and fulfill like a certain amount of time in a certain archetype, and then another archetype could open up once you've sort of done all that part of your path. So, and Carolyn covers like 12 basic archetypes, but then there's heaps. Not basic, like we've each got 12. 4 that we all have the same as, because it's got to do with the design of life, that we are going to experience certain things and learn not to live in the shadow aspects of our archetypes. So like the victim, we all have a child, we all have a saboteur, and prostitute. We'll have a prostitute. So prostitute is talking about how we use our power in life, whether we would give away our energy to shadow aspects of life that aren't serving, like all of our path, like all of our archetypes, isn't serving our energy and that interaction in the world. And then the victim, that's obvious. Like, we're going to all go through things where we're going to feel victimized, but do we stay in the shadow of it? And then the saboteur, how do we sabotage ourselves where we're opening and progressing through life, and we have to face like our solar plexus consciousness, which is fears and holding ourselves back. So we can sabotage ourselves by holding ourselves back and keeping ourselves small, when that would be more shadowy aspect, like we're letting the world tell us who we are, so we're going to sabotage, new opportunities, or going and meeting someone, that could be of benefit. But because we have like a strong saboteur energy, if our other archetypes aren't assisting us and we're clearing out shadow, then we could fall into saboteur for ourselves. So, and then the child, lots of things happen as we're growing up. So it's like the inner child, but we'll always have it. It's not like just representing our childhood. It's also all the way through our lives, how we will look at the child aspect of ourselves. So there can be a magical child, a nature child, a wounded child, like abandoned child, like the shadow aspects of the child. But we will play out different child aspects because we have sacred contracts as well. So it's pretty interesting and pretty cool as you progress to understand that we are more than just arrived here and play certain labels and roles and that's it. And that's where those four main designs of archetypes for our experience can get stuck in the shadow. Because we aren't just labels or roles. Like, we aren't just a mother, or we aren't just, different occupations. We change because we're souls. So the point being that the sacred contract is pretty cool. And so when I did my guidance for this relationship, which I'd known was coming into play in my consciousness because I was drawn to different things to do with soul tribe information, like what was that twin flame soul reunion, and it intrigued me like on a deep level. And it started to open up, that my whole life experience and what I'd been drawn to was opening up, that the higher consciousness aspect was what I was following through on. And I was deeper and deeper in soul studies, which is when I came across Caroline and archetypes, interior castle, all the different levels of us 10 to 15 years ago. And so, speeding it up forward now, I'm talking about the contract, because when I told Matias, and like everyone is at different spiritual awareness, understanding. We all have like different unique abilities, qualities. We all have intuition. We all pick it up differently and sometimes similarly. So when you express to someone who you think is sort of over it, like he's got it covered, he'll know what I'm saying. It's a spiritual, it's a sacred contract, and he did, but because his level of maturity, his level of relationship awareness, like healthy relationship awareness, because he was also, he's a gay man, and now this is like another level of awakening into, oh, my soul path can actually take me, you know, on a different journey. So there's all these things, but the fact that it's a contract, he drew a conclusion in all of his fear and separation, and like he's stuffing with my ears right now, just there's like this knocking, tap tap, and different shit going on, and trying to blur across my eyes and stuff. It's all energy. He took on contract to be, I served, I should serve him. We have a contract. No matter what he does, I am obliged to serve this person that was turning into an arrogant, bossy, pushy, energetically demanding, started to interfere with people in my house, in my like family's done that as well. Anything, that energy you could possibly think of, he tried to manipulate to keep the contract via his awareness egotistical, pompous, slave, servant, treat me like shit. So that's just a bit of the insight that one's mind can run away with them and just not hold compassion, listening, deciding to come down a level from the puffed up ego and work at the heart. All along those lines. So I'm giving you this update, which is like an hour or so after the other one, because he's still doing everything. I tried to lay down, as I said, and he just focuses on getting something, like touching me as though I'm a servant, and that's how he lives his life. I'm going to touch you as a ghost and you should respond, and if you don't, I'm going to do various things. Stuffs around with temperatures, you know, more than what you would normally get when you're feeling a bit unwell. Crazy pains and stuff. So when one thinks that way as he does, you know, there's no progress really at any great rate. And when people keep going round and round in the same consciousness and decide that they're fixated on how it should be, so his idea of contract, his idea or ideal, which is bossy, sex, distance always, and obey. So control is his ideal. And that's what's declining on planet Earth at the moment, energetically. Like, we've just had enough, because all this shit, it ain't gonna be held up like a platform of life anymore. It's like popping holes in the crap foundation to let the light in and everything dissipate. So when someone goes round and round in control, they stay at the same level of consciousness. So it's like around the first 3 chakras. And because we all have talents and abilities, he uses his talents and abilities, but his consciousness for life stays at the first 3, physical chakras and doesn't extend into like letting the heart rise into the imagination, express it, and live it. So for his own life experience, and I understand everyone has their own life experience, some people are not supported in their dreams. Some people are told what to do and they behave. Some people feel at a loss in life, like have a child in them that feels like they're owed something, and then so it goes into the victim. You know, like maybe a parent wasn't there or a parent didn't do something they wanted, so there's like this shadow blame, and then they're staying in the victim like they're owed something through adulthood, and they sabotage things easily because they don't open up to new, they're stuck in the fear. So too much shadow. So as I was talking to him again through the night and said, you're gonna have to put these shadows to bed, like lay them out, manure, and bring in the light, accepting the contracted path. I didn't say contracted, but accepting our path. That's it. So yeah, other than that, it's just going to go like this. And it goes down to the sacral chakra, obviously, because he relies on like the sexual activity to be some kind of foundational life experience. But foundational life experience is rising through the consciousness. Right? So it's letting yourself shine, do new things, break out of habits, use your ears and your heart, and listen when people are saying, this shit ain't gonna go on. Quit it, it's human crap. The path is at the heart. Otherwise, you just keep going round and round in the old, round and round. And he says, make it better, give me what I want. No, the crap patterns need light, which is moving forward. And moving forward is, in our design, rising in our consciousness. So these people who have power, they trip out and they play with it and they think they're just right and they don't have to listen with their heart. Money and power in the world, sex, I'm looking great. I don't really have to care about you. Just give me what I want. That shit's fallen away on planet Earth. Slowly but surely. It is. We're in a light evolution. So, as a spiritual teacher, it really just gets me how he doesn't just rise in consciousness. But that's ego for you. That's ego for you. When it's overdone, overbearing, it can get fucking gross. Just gross. Because he don't listen. He don't give a shit for compassion. He's this completely. So you can imagine a solar plexus shadow. And so he refers to the groin and the root chakra, which is like, sexuality overdone, like concentrating on sexuality is what's going to move me forward. Telling her what to do is going to move me forward. Shadow, probably slow in the orange center. And then the red center's overdone, these two are like our physical environment, making sure I've got everything covered business-wise, overworking, overthinking, everything's run down here, shadow, me. That's what I'm living with this guy. That's what ego does on this planet. Now, it's not easy to have lived through what we've been living through on this planet and each of our unique experiences. I know. But I didn't come back to planet Earth to stuff around and join ego. A lot of us didn't. We don't want to look around and see ego shit. We don't want to be told to live via ego shit. So this is a rising consciousness to assist the planet. I've been telling him this for years. This is all I can do because I'm not any of this. I am not obey by a boss, told to do that. That is not a contract. The contract is the rise in consciousness. Join with each other, rise in consciousness. So yeah, he's still annoying me, and I'll probably try and lay down and I'll probably do the usual stuff, which is You know, I'm so special at a distance, and I'm going to annoy you for something. And I will come on strong and heavy in your energy field if you don't. And I keep telling him, go in the opposite direction, mate, because I ain't doing that. I'm happy to do the heart face to face, and that's it. Because what is that, heart face to face? That's people interacting and getting to know each other. That's the other thing. When people don't want to branch out and do that, they don't give a shit for who the person actually is. So he thought he could generically keep going round and round and interacting with all other women and men, and then think he was getting something from me. He didn't make any effort, and still hasn't, to get to know me. He actually thinks, like another inverted commas, thinks that the way he watches me, and he watches everything. I'm cutting food, I'm making dinner, I'm going to the toilet, I'm in the shower, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's a double life. He thinks he knows what's going on, but he's stuck in the consciousness round and round that the contract is I serve him. I don't serve any man in any relationship I've ever had. We take care of ourselves, man or woman, whatever relationship you're in. We take care of ourselves and we share our best selves. And if you each sort of are falling by the wayside with different things, you support each other. Like you talk it out, you help for growth. You don't like, come here, I'll carry you. You keep doing the same shit, no worries. I'll obey you and take on the same shit. Some relationships do that for various reasons, because the power interplay between the couples is not of honest authenticity. A lot of relationships are based around money, power, like interplay there, appearance, jobs, connections, things like this. Some don't last very long, some do. It depends whether the consciousness vibration is going to meet, because you really do attract people where you're at your vibration, which is like your mindset, and you're hanging on to patterns or letting go of patterns and rising. Now, when I say rising in consciousness, because we all have the design, right? The 7 main chakras, consciousness. You can refer to them and see if you're in balance or out of balance. So like if you're more in a shadow aspect where you're relying on a certain part of life in this consciousness. So the rising in consciousness is they're a higher speed in the more subtle realm. So they're not the same as the physical consciousness. So you embody these more as you get older, but it's not to say that with the rising in consciousness on the planet, the souls coming in could rise easier, that's what happens each generation. We end up progressing. It's like my daughter's age group, 17, around that age, they came in ready for technology. Like, she's just blown me away the way she adapts to that, and I'm sure lots of parents relate, and you have to keep reminding them that life is not lived through it. But yeah, each time they come in adapting quite easily to the energy and what they bring as those souls with contracts to come in to planet Earth for their lifetime, overlapping with ours and what we've been living through. Okay, I think that's enough of a chat. Thanks for listening. Needed to get it out, as you know. Hope it helped remind you of certain things and what to look out for, and we don't have to put up with, because that rising in consciousness is to see clearer and clearer, more an expanded kind of view, rather than me in the physical appreciation. It's, I'm a part of more at the crown. I can see more into life. It's not just physical at the third eye. Like, there's more going on, and I can pick up on different sort of intuitive, unseen senses that speak to me. And they're going to speak to me clearer if I'm not bogged down in repeat patterns. So, as you do raising consciousness, you'll expand your awareness into different things, and make sure you let yourself. Otherwise, you could get stuck cycling around in, why hasn't this happened, and how come this isn't happening for me? And you just have to take a look at that in like honesty and the consciousness. You could look into that as well. I have some videos of that, and I could do some more. All right then. Thanks everyone. Bye for now.